Hello and welcome to the Listening Post's unboxing channel on YouTube. Today I'm unboxing a masterpiece, an NAD Master Series M66 streaming preamp. NAD have been producing some of their classic series for a very long time, some 50 years. Complementing it with their much higher end kit, their Master Series, for maybe 20, 25, something like that. Their M33, which I'll link maybe up here, is absolutely stunning. An integrated amplifier with some of the very best specifications and amplification on board, and NAD's BluOS or Blue Sound streaming on board. Took the world by storm. It's an amazing integrated amplifier. It's elegant, it's simple to use, it sounds amazing. NAD then complemented that again in their Master Series with the M23 power amplifier. Again, we've seen that, so maybe there's a link here. The power amplifier allowed bridging of mono from both of those things. It allowed for bi-amp and bi-wire configurations and gave people the flexibility and upgrade path for so much more. What they've done is complemented that entire range with a brutally high-end streaming preamp, this new M66. It's using Flagship ESS Sabre DACs. Because it's a preamp and needs to deal with analog inputs, it's used reference ESS ADC chips, so analog to digital. It has an almost immeasurable noise floor. It's already being reviewed for how well the soundstage and dynamics and unveiling is delivered, let alone the feature bundle associated with its BluOS operating, and enabling you to add everything from Bluetooth to Apple AirPlay, and of course streaming of Tidal, Deezer, Spotify, you name it. Every known internet radio station, every popular streaming service is covered off within the BluOS. Add to it, of course, that you have the capabilities of multi-room. You have the capabilities of using this in its new second generation of module for Dirac and other room correction. You end up with the perfect complement. Add your own power amplification if you want. Buy an M23 if you want. Buy two M23s. This is one of the most desirable streaming preamps on the market. Buy it as a preamp, you'll love it. Buy it as a very high-end streamer and you will love it. But together these two offer a unique feature set and a commanding authority of the high-end market in a relatively affordable box. Okay, let's have a look. Master Series. Again, if you followed any of the links that I pointed to earlier, the packaging is designed to not only be environmentally friendly, but also look after the product in transit. It's relatively muted as far as the outer box. We've got some basic information. M66 scannable code associated with its serial number and model. You've got basic dimensions and some weight. NAD Master Series on one side and an emulation of that on the others. Opening this is really easy. So this is just simple packing tape, big bold sellotape. Opening is really straightforward. And we see the sort of signature Master Series in a carton. Rolling that over is pretty straightforward. Okay, get rid of the outer box, and we see a beautiful plastic sealed carton inside. The plastic wrap, I guess, is designed to keep it kind of well looked after in transit, and it's really straightforward to get rid of. Simple enough sort of tearing approach gets that off. Gets rid of that. And we see a now sort of dark inner carton, again emulating the NAD Master Series, and it's model the M66. It's a reminder, of course, because it's a streaming DAC preamp, is that with all of the digital inputs that the preamp has, you've got all the flexibility in the world to use some of the very, very best digital to analog conversion for anything you might do. It's going to have an eARC for your TV, it's going to have traditional Toslink and coax, we'll see that. But it's not just a streamer, it's not just a preamp, it's a DAC as well. We've got, again, repeating information associated with its serial number and model and scan, M66 on the side, Master Series, and so on. This inner carton is very, very straightforward again to open. It's just sealed with some packing tape. The outer carton, for most people, perhaps could be discarded, could be seen as just a freight carton, and with the courier labels and other things often associated with them, it's you know, good to see that they've got those two layers, and you end up with a lovely box to keep. Okay. Now, the first thing that we'll see, and we're just going to lift this up very carefully, is moulded cardboard is used. Now this is recycled cardboard, and it's still 100% recyclable. Again, we've seen that in all the new Master Series stuff. Okay, and you see one of the first cartons of the accessories that just sort of sits in that moulding on top of the amplifier. Okay, so let's look at the accessory box for a moment. And the first thing it talks about, of course, is to keep the software up to date. Look, 99% of the time during freight and shipping, some changes or evolution associated with even just compliance is out of date, I guess, during the time of shipping and transport. So it's really, really important that the first thing you do is download the BluOS app and do a software update. There is a quick start guide, and it basically looks at how you plug stuff in. What you'll find in the accessory box and other things like that, very, very straightforward. Talks about the single-ended inputs, the balanced inputs, some of the accessories and other things that you will see. Safety instructions, international warranty card. Then we see in the accessories a small sort of cardboard envelope, again probably made out of recycled material, and there's a beautiful sort of polished cloth. The remote control is held in place with a little bit of a cardboard filler, and the remote, unlike the predecessor with a large remote, the M33 that is, it has a more compact remote control. Now already it feels beautiful in the hand. It's got an extruded aluminium with two rubber sort of bump-ons to stop it from damaging the surface. Batteries go in the base like that, and it's pretty comprehensive as far as being able to navigate its control. Remember, most people are probably going to use the very, very elegant 7-inch touchscreen on the front. It's full colour, it's amazing. Even gets VU meters when you're using a traditional source rather than a stream source. So the remote doesn't have to be colossal to be able to dive into all of its capabilities. We see a little wee freebie here with an NAD branded USB key. If I remember correctly, there's a PDF manual on this one and some other sort of information. Also very, very useful for people who are downloading high-res files and might want to plug that in. Again, we've got a little bit of fill, and then the 4 magnetic protective cups. Now I'll pull all those out, get rid of this and this, and I'll just turn them around for a second. Firstly, there's sort of a rubbery, a sort of a firm rubber circle, then a magnetic centre. Now it means that this protective cap will attach to the bottom of the preamp. Not so not so aggressively that it's going to minimise the associate sort of properties associated with having a milled spike and the vibration dampening that that brings. But it's really, really handy because you can either pre-fit them and then place the product on, or when you go to move them, know that they'll come with it. So again, nice and easy, magnetic, nice little feature there. Now removing the preamplifier is relatively straightforward because of course it's not very heavy. We're just going to put it off to one side and we'll concentrate on the next layers and levels. What we see is a whole lot of desiccant bags to keep this moisture free, and some anti-mold bags, because of course, remember this, they're avoiding the use of polystyrene, and so the folded cardboard, if it gets really damp, we have some problems. So they've added the moisture resistant and antifungal sort of things as well, and hence the plastic wrap that they put over it. Clearly in the bottom we have the final accessory pack. Get rid of this. Now, given the fact I've got a care package with power cords in it, we will assume that in here we have the international voltage power cords rather than ones that are being useful for New Zealand. And sure enough, we've got a British one, and I don't know, whatever else. Doesn't matter, I'm not going to use it. But further in, we've got some AA batteries for the remote control. We've got a USB adapter specific for the next thing, which is the Dirac microphone. With these products, they use Dirac Live for room and speaker correction. Now that's an amazing feature, and it's on board and it's free. Being able to tune this preamp to all of the properties associated with your speakers, your room, your power amp, your interconnects, all of those types of things is a wonderful, wonderful feature. We also see in the packaging, and it's a final little accessory, the two Wi-Fi antennas. Now of course, as I always recommend, if you're going to buy anything of credibility for streaming, please invest in the cable network infrastructure to keep things as stable as possible. Of course you can't always do that, so the dual Wi-Fi's help to overcome it. Right, so we've got a beautiful, next layer of course is the beautiful semi-soft cloth bag. It's got a drawstring holding it closed, and it's very, very straightforward to sort of pull off the knot and open the bag. We get the first glimpse of the beautiful fit and finish of this product. Slipping it over one of the feet, it's important to remind people that if you're moving this around, it has milled feet to a spike. Again, that is to eliminate vibration. And if you drag that across some precious piece of antique furniture, it could leave some marks. So please be careful moving it around initially, or of course fit the supplied feet. Taking the rest of the bag off, very, very straightforward. So we'll pause and I'll just show you those feet. Again, as always, hang around for the close-up photos. I'll take some of the feet and other things. We'll see a very minimal bottom. It's obviously just designed to be functional. Having a look just for a moment, I want to show you the elegance of this product. The beautiful, beautiful design. Everything is very, very well thought out. Okay, back to the product. Firstly, tilting it forward, we've got a screen print very subtly in the corner here of streaming DAC preamp. We've got a touch sensitive power on and off. Tap it and it turns on. Hold that for a couple of seconds and it turns off. Underneath that we've got the M66 label, model number obviously. Tilting it forward to see the front, we see a beautifully elegant NAD logo, and around it a tricolour LED. As part of its status, we've got orange, red, and of course sort of a white light for normal operation. It lets you know it's booting up, and of course if it's got any problems. Along the front we see the 6.35mm, so 1/4 inch headphone socket. on board is a really good dedicated headphone amplifier. And again, that's very, very rare nowadays. So often the headphone socket is just an afterthought and no attention is given to it. But it's wonderful to see that they have put something of real credibility in this, and are allowing people, of course, to utilise the streaming and other capabilities of it through some headphones if required. Along the front, again, the 7-inch touchscreen. Now this is full colour, vibrant colour as well. You can dim it down if you require, you can make it go to sleep and turn black, all of those, that's all part of the setup. But honestly, streaming music with cover art, your music library with all of its cover art, or the VU meters ticking along lovely. It's so beautiful as far as the way it operates and the elegance of its job. The last, of course, is the rotary encoder. Now this is for navigating of the on-screen display, as well as obviously a volume control. Finally, the MDC screen printing, but of course, being so advanced, this is now offering the MDC2 upgrade cards. Now if you're not familiar with that, have a look at some of our other videos. In fact, we even fit these cards, because in modular design construction, MDC is a really critical part of keeping these things current and adding the feature set that might either come tomorrow, some unknown new something, or some specific things that you may require within your own home. HDMI switching, asynchronous USB, multiple high-end options can be added to this using that modular design. Looking at the side, again a repeat of how elegant and beautiful this product is, with a simple ventilation slot along the side. The extruded aluminium panelling is absolutely superb. Obviously looking at the back, but please again pause, look at how beautiful this product is. Right, looking at the back, this is where we see just how well featured this product is. Starting with the boring side of things, we've got a ground. Obviously that's for potentially resolving earth issues with connected power amplifiers or other sources, but most commonly utilised for a turntable. We've got an IEC power socket, along with a fuse and a spare fuse in that little plastic drawer beneath. We've got a traditional, good quality rocker switch for on and off. Coming across this way, we see the analog outputs. It's got balanced and single-ended RCA, all of amazing quality. Above it, we've got subwoofer outputs. Now, with the real flexibility associated with subwoofers, and the fact that the Dirac will also deal with the bass correction as well, NAD have chosen to offer 4 single-ended subwoofer outputs and 4 balanced subwoofer outputs to allow the flexibility for people who might be using 2 subwoofers for stereo, or 3 or 4 to overcome potential noding or other issues in a room for its acoustics. So it's wonderful to see that level of flexibility, and again linked to the elaborate setup that is capable on board and the Dirac room correction, you have got a nirvanic approach as far as the flexibility for the subwoofers you can connect. Above that, we've got basic control. So this is 12 volt in and out associated with triggering this unit on and triggering other connected units on as required. Most common is probably the 3.5mm output, which would go to a connected power amplifier. You've got an IR input for external control from other potential automation devices in your home, or a remote sensor if this is elsewhere, and the two-way feedback associated with RS-232. Take it for granted you can control this via network, of course, anything as well thought out as this, and of course most people will use the free NAD BluOS app to control the streaming and other functions. Again, there's the 4 single-ended subwoofer outputs, and then we look to some of the inputs, and again this is how brilliant this product is appointed. We've got a single set of balanced inputs marked very clearly right and left. We've got 2 traditional RCA line inputs, Above it we've got an AES EBU digital input, 2 optical inputs and 2 coax digital inputs, and the wired network socket associated with connecting this to your network, and with that all of the streaming capabilities from the outside world. Beside that we've got the HDMI in. Now this is just an input, it doesn't give you on-screen display or anything along those lines. It is the HDMI EARC or audio return channel, designed to connect to a television or potentially a high-end disc spinner like a Blu-ray or 4K player. Most people will use this to connect to TV, and with the CEC control, the ability to change the volume off the TV remote if required. You've got a USB associated with software updating, servicing and other things along those lines, and then 2 dedicated phono preamp inputs. They put a lot of work into these phono preamps, by the way, including filters and other things to ensure that this dedicated analog source is not mistreated by a digital preamp. There's a separate ground associated with it for the convenience of connecting, and again a dedicated moving coil and moving magnet input associated with dedicated onboard circuitry to get the most out of those sources. Last but not least, we've got a couple of the Wi-Fi antenna, not just for Wi-Fi but also probably Bluetooth as well. Connecting those is really straightforward. In fact, I might just pause and do exactly that, which gives us a nice little fit and finish to it. And starts to look a little bit more finished, I guess. There we go. Now, also on the back are the 2 upgrade board slots. The MDC2. Now, MDC2 has been available with some of the classic series amplifiers like the 399 and the 389. It's a slightly longer board, giving them more capability as far as the topography on board, and also to ensure that there's no confusion between backwards compatibility or forward compatibility between the old MDC cards and the new version 2s. There are 2 slots, and because it's got BluOS and all of these inputs, HDMI, other things like that, I wouldn't be surprised if you never use one. But again, there's so many excellent cards available within the Bluesound and NAD range that you could choose to add that at any stage, and that's a huge advantage. So, there we have it. NAD's brand new M66 world-class streaming preamp, unboxed here at the Listening Post in Christchurch, New Zealand. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more, subscribe to our channel.